So that investor is ready, they're going to make a deposit into your account. You're excited to have them because it's going to be huge. Your investment fund is almost full, but how do we make sure that there isn't wire fraud or check fraud or something going on that ultimately at the end of the day is going to hurt you? This day and age, wire fraud, check fraud, cryptocurrency fraud are all commonplace, unfortunately. It's very challenging in today's world to be able to just take the money that you need to take, right? When an investor wants to invest, most of the time it works out great, but not every single time. And when it doesn't, when there's fraud going on, that can cost you personally a lot of money and a lot of heartache, or it could cost your investors, which is probably even worse than it costing you. So let's go through some of the things to think about when we're thinking about all these kinds of fraud. So obviously there's all sorts of different kinds of fraud that's going on. So let's just take a general overview about what's going on in those common schemes, basically to defraud you out of your money. Now, simple ones that we can think about are those email phishing scams where it's like, click here and give us your account number. It's Wells Fargo, it's Chase Bank, and your account's been hacked, or something bad like that, right? That people unintentionally misread these, they believe it's from an authentic source, and they put in that information. Now, that's not really the common situation here. But what does happen from time to time, certainly the one that I have seen personally, not to me or to one of my clients, but actually to one of my peers, what happened was somebody had intercepted an email, had altered the wiring instructions on that email, and that money never came in. That is wire fraud, and it could certainly happen to you if steps aren't taken to prevent it. So in this case, what had happened is somebody from overseas was sending in a large sum of money. In this case, it was over $2 million that was being sent and to a friend of mine, to a peer. So he never got it. He knew the wire had taken place because the client said they had placed it, but they never received anything. Now, what happens in a situation like that? Well, fortunately for my friend, what had happened is on the wiring instructions, on the very bottom, it said, please call to verify all the information to make sure that it is going to the right bank account first, and we will verify it on the phone for you to make sure that there isn't wire fraud. This is to prevent fraud. Do this first. That was boldly there, and it was in there on the same copy that the person who was wiring the money had. Who's to blame at the end of the day? Well, it's the guy who sent the money, because it said right there, please call and verify, and they never did. So they lost $2 million just based on wire fraud. Doubtful that they will ever invest with this guy, but that certainly can happen. So that's a very common type of scheme. The other kind of scheme I've seen is this sort of fake, well, we transferred the money by Bitcoin to you. Here's the wallet that you need to log into. Oh, looks like you need to pay an upfront fee in order to get access to that wallet. And then there's some sort of scheme that takes place there. I've seen that happen too as well. The third kind of thing that I've actually seen as well, boy, I've seen a lot of these, is check fraud, where somebody writes a check, sends the check for deposit, except it wasn't a real check. Sometimes banks can take a long time, like up to 30 days, in order to process a check. It looked like a real check. It had the name of a kind of a real bank on it. It certainly was a bank that sounded real, except it wasn't real at the end of the day. The check gets cashed, it's still pending, and then the pressure comes from the scammer to say, give me the money back, give me the money back, give me the money back. I'm going to file a lawsuit. I'm going to complain to the SEC. You're going to jail. What you do is you give them the money, only to find out that check wasn't real. The money never actually hits your bank account, and you've just now made that scammer whatever amount of money you've just sent him. So that's the real kind of fraud that can take place, and it can affect syndications and investment funds. So what can you do to prevent wire fraud and check fraud from hurting your investment fund or syndication? Well, first off, like I said before, make sure that on your wiring instructions, it's got verification instructions. So make sure that it says very clearly, hey, if you're wiring money, call our office, talk to this person, and make sure that the funds are there. Make sure that this is the correct account number. You have our phone number. Verify that the phone number is correct between what you see on the wiring instructions and what you see here, just to prevent that issue from changing those instructions as well. But that verification is very important. So always, always, always do that. If you're a client of mine and you've wired money to me, you've seen it there, either call Tilden or call Christian and verify those wiring instructions. It's there for a very good reason. The other idea is secure communications. Make sure that your email is locked down if you're going to send those by email. Make sure that that happens that way, or make some sort of mechanism in order to secure that transmission to it. Make sure that it either takes place through, a DocuSign agreement, so it's encrypted in that there can't be any alteration of it, or something like that in order to ensure that the right information gets sent. And then third, just make sure you're aware. Make sure that you are up on different ways that check fraud, wire fraud takes place, so that you can be on the lookout to do this, to protect yourself. Now, another way to prevent wire fraud and check fraud and crypto fraud that is also just good for the whole world is educate your investors. It's something worth talking to them about. I mean, I'm talking to you about it right now because it's useful information and you need it, and you should be talking to your investors too about it, because why you're putting it there, it's really to protect them ultimately. Just like I'm talking to you about it now is really to protect you ultimately. So have an awareness campaign. Make sure that they know that this is reality, and that you, because you're a professional, because you've got their best interests at heart, you're making sure that they have this information in order to protect themselves. You also want to have some verification process built in, and that can be by verification on the wire, as we talked about, or if they're paying by check, verify that it's a real check and something like that. Certainly, if it's certified funds from a huge new U.S. bank, I probably wouldn't be too worried if everything on it looks proper, and if the routing number is the same, it's probably pretty good that it's not a fake check. If it's a cryptocurrency, God help you, you've got some challenges here. It's very difficult to prevent fraud in the crypto space just by its very nature. And third, what you want to do is report any suspicious activity, any suspicious behavior to the authorities, and make sure that it gets stopped. And it may not be your investors that are doing it. It probably is somebody that's a bad actor somewhere in the middle, and you want to put a stop to that to protect your investor and to protect yourself. Now, if you as an investment fund manager or a syndicator do suspect wire fraud, what do you need to do? Well, you got to act fast. So these people these scammers, they move super fast. You want to protect yourself early, as quickly as you can. If you notice anything suspicious, you find out, you do research and make sure that it's on the level. I've had conversations with my clients, making sure that when they're transferring money back or these things happen, making sure that it's going to be taking place in a mechanism that's going to ultimately protect the investor. Paper it. Make sure that anything bad happens, it's not on you. Make sure it's on somebody else. If it's the investor that you're returning money to, have them say, yes, I want the money back. I want the money back by wire. These are the wiring instructions. You verify the wiring instructions at the bank. Make sure that everybody knows, okay, this has all been verified, and that's just to protect you. So take immediate action. Now, also report anything that's bad to the FBI. Yes, the FBI, Internet Crime Complaint Center, is there to help you prevent wire fraud. That's their role. So obviously wire fraud is national and international. But as far as the U.S. is concerned, that is handled by the FBI. They've got a whole division that takes care of this to prevent this from happening. And then make sure that you've got procedures in place. Make sure you've got instructions about wire fraud and things like that to make sure that you're protecting yourself. Wire fraud, crypto fraud, check fraud, those are all things that actually do face, that syndicators and investment fund managers do face. And you should be working actively to prevent it, not only for you, but for your investors as well. It is good for the world to make sure that those people who are trying to steal that money get punished in the way that they deserve, which is they don't get punished in the way they actually deserve, but they get punished a little bit. Ultimately, they really should be, locked up, thrown away the key, and those people are the scum of the earth, the absolute scum. They do not belong anywhere near us. So, wire fraud, obviously I care a lot about that. So, check fraud, wire fraud, crypto fraud, be on the lookout, be safe, make sure that your client's money is safe, that your money is safe by preventing these types of things from happening. My name is Tilda Moschetti. I am a syndication attorney for the Moschetti Syndication Law Group. Now, if I can help you put a syndication together or an investment fund together, I'd be happy to talk with you more. If you're interested in knowing how to prevent wire fraud or check fraud or crypto fraud, or you've got a case specifically, I'm actually not the guy. I care a lot about it. I want you to have the information. But if it's specifically related to that you need information on, you definitely do need help. Find an attorney who specializes in that area. But if you need an attorney that specializes in forming the syndication or the investment fund, that's me. I specialize in Reg D offers, specifically Rule 506B and Rule 506C. If we can help you put together that investment fund or syndication, give us a call. We'd be happy to help.